It is with much regret that I couldn't make FanFest this year, not because I couldn't make the time, but simply because I couldn't secure tickets. I heard the Vegas FanFest was a bit of a hot mess, so maybe it's better I dodged this one. Every FanFest, Yoshi and the team give us a glimpse into the future, and in this video, I'll be covering the major highlights from the Tokyo keynotes. Expectations were running high. Viper's already been announced, and everyone is waiting to see what else is in store for Final Fantasy XIV. I personally feel Dawn Trail is one of the most important upcoming expansions. Dawn Trail is the make or break for Final Fantasy XIV's future. The reason I say this is the beginning of a new cycle. It's the beginning of a completely new story arc. Endwalker wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best in my opinion, and I do think the general community shares the same sentiment. 2 mediocre expansions in a row is a trend, and people are good at spotting those. Nonetheless, I have high hopes for Dawn Trail, and I wish for only the best. Without further ado, Pictomancer. I mean, how do I say this?
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The job doesn't look at all like my Final Fantasy. It looks like a job for chicks or really fancy dudes, so aesthetically myself, I am disappointed. I had to really tell myself that the glam can be changed so the looks don't matter, but even the spells that are shown in the keynote look like they're from another game. I do have to say I'm glad they're exploring and trying something way out there and different. I just wish they could show maybe like some dark art? Maybe something that doesn't look like it's from Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat? I think there's a lot of potential in the actual gameplay, and it could be perhaps one of the funnest jobs out there. I would like to see the new jobs that are added to the game having higher skill caps. I'm not trying to hate it, in fact I'm trying my hardest to like it, so we'll have to see how it actually plays. I might as well weigh in on Viper as well. I feel the Viper job looks more or less like an Assassin's Creed version of Ninja. So more or less a Western Ninja, or a Thief, or a Blade Master type. I think the job will probably be fun, but it won't be a main for me. I think the aesthetics are nice, and it more or less fits the Thief Assassin motif. Female Hrothgar was also announced. I hate to start off with 2 negatives, but I hate male Hrothgars, and adding females wasn't really something I wanted for the game. It just isn't for me, and to each their own. I wish they would just fix hats for bunnies and Hrothgars before spending any more time on adding more races. The females' run is about as awkward as the males, so there's that. Beastmaster. I loved this job in Final Fantasy XI. I even got the relic weapon, even though everyone said it was a piece of trash. By the way, relics in Final Fantasy XI were no joke, like hundreds of hours, if not thousands, to get to the final stages. I'm very excited about this announcement, and the only downside is that it's a limited job. Considering how well pet jobs have gone so far in the game, perhaps it's better that it stays out of the normal content, but a part of me does wish I could play Beastmaster in a raid with my team. There is a lot of potential, and a ton of ways this job could be played. I really hope the team figures out the best way to execute the gameplay on this job. I personally want the pets to stay out and fight alongside rather than the way Summoner is now, with just pets as spells. Either way, I'm pretty sure I will go hard on Beastmaster. Cosmic Exploration. This was left pretty ambiguous, but it mentioned that we would be exploring new planets. I think this is exactly what the game needs to do. Final Fantasy XIV needs to start doing new and creative things. The only bad part about this is I'm pretty positive this content is for crafting and gatherers only, which leaves out like 80% of the players. I really hope they have content for combat jobs. Blue Mage update. This was expected, and I don't think there is much to say other than I'm glad they're keeping this up, and I know some, including myself, enjoy tinkering around with it. You know, I don't really like or hate Hildebrand. I'm not going to lie, but I can't get into the Japanese style of humor in the quest line, and ended up just skipping most of it. It's just not for me, but for the Hildebrand fans, you got something to look forward to. Deep Dungeon update. I like Deep Dungeons. Way back in the day, I did a lot of them to level some of my jobs. I'm not a huge consumer of Deep Dungeons, but I think it's going to give people a lot of options, especially when it comes to leveling, and content in general for that matter. I do enjoy the Gold Saucer. I don't spend a ton of time there, and I do wish they would add some legit gambling. Like, why can't we just play roulette? It's just skill, right? I'd go crazy if they did. I'm a bit of a PvP buff myself. I really enjoy Crystalline Conflict. I think it's pretty fun and well balanced. I hope they add something that lets me play ranked for more than just the first few weeks. I literally can't find a match if it's past the first month of a new season. New Variant Dungeons. I'm always excited to hear about the new Variant Dungeons. Surprisingly, I haven't done one. I think it's because the reward system, I really just don't have a reason to spend a ton of time down there. So I do hope they add some really sick glams, mounts, or something to drive me into going into one of those. 2 die system. All I can say is, finally, this is a great change, and I for one look forward to the implementation of this. Long have we been plagued with a single die system. The graphical update continues to look better and better. I do wish, however, there was a much larger overhaul. I think the character models in general need more of a drastic change. To each their own, and I understand why they didn't want to make those drastic changes though. Overall, the keynotes had some personal up and downs. I'm excited, open-minded, and I hope that the new content, races, and jobs all hit the mark. I really hope the expansion after Dawn Trail, things get a little more hardcore. I love to see dark and brutal jobs emerge. And if you could, just let me know about your job ideas or wishes in the comments below. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this Keynote review. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and I'll see you in the next one.